this is Flo from That Sew Flo, and this is the first ever sip and sew we've ever had, so thank you for joining me today. We are going to be sewing our ornaments, which are bell shaped today, so grab a favorite drink and let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show those that have bought a kit what is inside of here so we can go through all of the materials and supplies you're going to be needed. For those that didn't buy them, I will link them below in my description under the video. So those that have bought the kits, in each one you'll find the supplies and materials needed for 4 bell ornaments. First you'll see your bell template that you're going to cut out previous to sewing them. Then you'll find your hemp for the handles, your embroidery floss that's going to be needed for the 4, needles and pins, and then the 4 different colors of felt fabric that you can choose later on which bell you're going to use. Again, if you haven't bought these, please find me at That Sew Flo if you want a kit, or find the materials listed below in the description. Now that you have chosen your felt that you want for your first bell, you need to take your template and cut it out using a regular scissor, and it's going to look something similar to this. And you're going to take both your felt, they should be double, and you're going to pin it in place using 2 of your pins. And as you can tell, my template has been used many times, which is no problem, and yours can be used for your 4 bells as well. As you cut, don't feel that you have to be completely perfect as you cut around. If it's a little wonky, once the pins are out, you can always trim to make it look more like a bell. Grab your embroidery floss and 1 piece of hemp. Once you have chosen the color that you want to do, and I've chosen green here, but it could be any color you want, embroidery floss has 6 strands. You're going to grab 2 of them, like so, and you're going to just pull all the way down. For the next step, this is an optional step. I'm going to show some of you how to create a design on top. You do not need to do this. I did not do it for my first one. So reminder that you need to have a knot at the end of your string before you start the next step. So for mine, this is just a basic star, and again, it could look wonky. Mine certainly do. And you're going to pull from the back, and you're going to stretch out as far as you want. Your stars can be long, it can be short, and you're just going to go back and forth. The first one is a straight line down. Now pretend this is a T, and you're going to go to this, what a T would look like on the side, and again, from the back, you just go in, and then you go through. And I'm sure there's a lot of videos that I can post if you would like at the bottom of different embroidery methods you can use. This is a very simple one. Now once you make the T, then you're going to cross it on both sides to make a diagonal through the T. Now as you do this, I'm going to jump around and do another one, but you could put as many as you want throughout the top of your design. You can put even just 1 if you would like. So there you go for mine, and I'm going to continue working on the top, and I'll show you what it looks like in just a moment. So for this first version, I only created 3 different stars, but as you can tell, you can do as many as you want and have fun with it. The next step is to make sure that we are going to secure our hemp to our bell before we start sewing it around. You're going to take your hemp and place it in the back with a X-like figure, and you're going to place your other felt on top. Then you're going to make sure that your floss is knotted. I chose white so it doesn't see through into the different color, so you can use any color you want. I chose one that's going to be kind of secretive. Now the secret of this is to make sure that you get into the X shape so it doesn't slide out. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go through and make sure your knot is inside so it's kind of hidden. And you're going to make an X shape around. So I'm going to go on the diagonal here. And then I'm going to go back and try to get in the top to the bottom. So it's kind of like a upside down X in a way. And you're going to keep on going a couple times in that same fashion so it's secured and tightly put in there, because this hemp does want to come out as you're pulling. So let me just do this a couple times so you can see exactly what's going on. So again, a couple times through. I'm going to do it 2 right now, but you could do it 2, 3 times, as much as you think is going to be secure. Once you've done this a few times, just give it a little yank, and there you go. It's kind of secure already. Then I'm going to make sure I place it back into the bottom, like so, and tie a knot in between here, any way you feel fit. For this step, what you need to do is take both of your felt, one if you create it on the top, if not, that's okay, and the backing. Just make sure that the hemp is in between and you line it up as close as you can. As a reminder of where you want to stuff your pillow, or your ornament actually, you're going to pin here somewhere on the side where you know you're going to stitch around until you get to that point, and then you're going to stop. Again, don't forget that you need a knot at the end of the string, and you're going to start sewing around using a simple embroidery stitch. And I'm going to show you what this looks like. The first thing we're going to do is take your needle and you're going to put it in between the two fabrics, and you're going to pull so the knot hits the end of it. And you're going to try to tuck in that little fold here. And now you're just going to basically go around, trying to keep your stitches as equal as possible. So as I go around, you're just going from the bottom, just like you would, like you did at the beginning. And you're going to keep going around, and it's going to create an embroidery stitch all around your felt ornament. And you can always maneuver it as you go around, making sure the stitches look as perfect as possible. Now remember, for those of you that are new at this is not going to be perfect the first time. That's why I gave you 3 extra ones you can work on. Now the trickiest part of the sewing around is trying to get around your hemp thread. So again, this might take a couple tries. It's okay. You can take the stitch out and start again. But once you get to this, you're going to try to get in between, so that way your hemp is in there and your stitches still look a little uniformed with the rest of your stitches. So I'm going to play around with this for a little bit, try to get it to the perfect spot. It's in the middle of it, so now I can start pulling. And it might not look as perfect as I want, but I'm going to try again and see if it works. Okay, looks good to me. So now I'm just going to go all the way around until I reach this point of my bell, and I'm going to show you how to end it and stuff it. So at this point, my thread is running low, and this might happen to you as well. So I just wanted to stop here and show you what I'm going to do. Once your thread is getting low, you're going to still stitch like you would normally come through the back, but don't come through the front, and keep on going and just pull it through the back totally. And you're going to make a knot and just secure it and then start again. So now that we are rounding about our pin, you're going to leave it as is. Just take your thread, and you can unravel your pin and just place it to the side, and also take your pin out. At this point, remember, you have divided your pieces of batting, or actually it's Poly-Fil, into 4 different sections. You're going to take one of those and we're going to stuff into the ornament. So you will see that there's a little space left open, and you're going to maneuver it a bit. So you need bigger chunks, maybe smaller chunks. It's up to you how you do it. So this is too big for me, so I'm just going to rip them apart. It's really easy to rip them together and put them together as you need to. Okay, so now I'm stuffing it into it, and you're going to stuff it to the corners first because it's easy to get them lost in the shuffle, and even the bottom of your bell also needs a good pushing into. Some people like your ornaments really stuffed really tight and it's going to be fluffy. Others like it a little loose. It's all based on your preference of how you're going to do this. So now that I have stuffed my ornament, I rethreaded my needle, I'm just going to sew across. Now what you do need to make sure you do is that you have enough room that you can push it back and put your 2 pieces of felt together. And again, you're just going to go all the way to the end, and I'm going to show you how to end it once I get finished with the side. So now that I am almost finished, I have about one more stitch to go. I'm going to stop here and try to close it so it doesn't come unraveled. So I'm going to put it through just like I normally do, where it's through the back and up through the front. But instead of going around again, that little loop, I'm going to put it through the little loop and I'm going to close it with a knot. And then I'm going to shove my needle through here and bring it up the back so it comes through the back and it's still a knot there. And I'm going to cut. So that way there's a little back of string in the back in case it comes a little loose. And there we have our lovely. So again, there are so many ways that you can make these little ornaments. You can choose to not have a design, have a design with a star in it. These actually have what's called a blanket stitch, which I will actually post a video in case you're interested in moving on to blanket stitches. But hopefully you have fun with it and enjoy your products. Thank you so much for joining me for the first Sip and Sew. I hope you had a lot of fun. Cheers, and make sure you subscribe below to find out more events that's coming up in the new year.